is the difference. Okay, node here represent the activity and line here represent the activity link which are used to represent the dependency between activity. So maksudnya activity B depend on activity A. So sebab tu kita ada arrow dekat sini. Okay, so it shows that B depend on A ataupun A adalah precedence kepada B. Okay, now predecessor and successor. Okay, predecessor ni adalah sebelum, successor ni adalah selepas. Ya, so dekat sini kita ada A dan B. So mana satu predecessor, mana satu successor? Siapa tahu? Siapa tahu? A adalah apa kepada B?
Predecessor.
Yes, thank you Faiz. And B adalah successor kepada A. Okay, so that is the difference between predecessor and successor. Okay, so you kenapa you kena tahu what is predecessor and successor? Because in the calculation dia akan sebut situ predecessor or precedence. Precedence maksudnya sebelumnya adalah activity A, for example, in this example. Yeah. Okay, now instead of node tu kita buat bulat, kita boleh buat bulat, kita boleh buat lonjong, kita boleh buat trapezoid, kita boleh buat hexagon, tapi saya suka buat empat segi lah, senang. Senang. You boleh buat bulat, no problem. You can do the apa tu round, okay? Bulatan kat sini. Okay, tapi it is best lah sebab banyak nak information nak tulis dalam note ni. I prefer to do it in this manner. Yeah. So again sama juga early start dekat sini, early finish di sini, late start di sini, late finish di sini. Ya. Jangan terbalik dengan critical path method. Dia lain ya. Kedudukan early start dengan early finish ni berlainan. Okay. Yang tu you kena tengok balik the last class video. Okay, so activity description is here and the duration is here. Okay, so this is how you label your precedence activity. Okay, so apa maksud early start di sini? Early start di sini is how soon can the activity start. So maksudnya seawal-awalnya activity, for example this is activity A, seawal-awalnya activity A can start. Okay, dan early finisher is seawal-awalnya activity A can finish. Okay, and early how late can the activity start? This is late start. Okay, and this is how late can the activity finish. So kalau you tengok kat sini adalah start. Okay, dua-dua ni adalah start, kat ujung ni dua-dua adalah finish. Satu ada early, satu late. Satu adalah early finish, satu late finish. Okay, so yang ini start, yang ini finish. Okay. Alright, so that's how you label your precedence activity. Okay, for example, you ada activity A. So activity A kat sini, this is early start, early finish, late start, late finish. And this is activity B. Okay, so how you connect these two? By using the arrow. Okay, yang lain semua sama lah. Yang lain semua sama. Okay, so this is the labeling of your activity. Okay. You kena hafal yang ni sebab nanti kita akan buat sama-sama. You jangan confuse dekat mana early start, dekat mana early finish nak letak. Nanti you akan your calculation will be in a mess lah. Yeah, so you have to memorize this. You have to memorize this. Okay. Now kita tengok precedence diagram. Before we go on to the calculation part, I want you to know the fundamental of the precedence. Yeah. The precedence diagram. Okay, you have activity A, B dan C. Okay, so kita nak tengok apa maksudnya di sini. Maksudnya A is being preceded by nothing. Maksudnya tak ada, dekat sebelah belakang A tak ada siapa-siapa. Okay, tak nothing. And B is preceded by A. And C is preceded by B. Okay, and then you have this. Okay, siapa boleh bagi tahu saya? What is this mean? What preceded what? Cepatlah. Apa preceded apa? Yang tadi ni B preceded by A, C preceded by B. So I want to know B. Kat sini B apa?
Preceded by A.
Yes. Thank you, Alyani. B is preceded by A, and C is also preceded by A. So this is how you write the relationship. Okay. So kalau macam ni, macam mana pula? Macam mana pula? Siapa tahu? Aizat. Aizat di sini tak? Aizat, you bagi tahu saya. What is this relationship? Ikram cakap D is preceded by A, B, C. Thank you, Ikram. Okay, so make sure you all tahu apa preceded by apa ya. So maksudnya dia sama saja. In precedence diagram, the arrow or the activity is same like what it is in the yes, Christine. Ada soalan. Christine, you raise your hand. Is there any question? Tak ada. Okay. So, dia sama macam CPM ya, Critical Path Method. Dia mungkin boleh ada satu saja preceded ataupun dia boleh ada dua atau tiga preceded by another activity. Yeah. So, it can be like this. Okay. A, B, C can all begin at the same time. Okay. But A, B, C must be completed first before D can begin. Okay. So, maksudnya D is depend on A, B, C. Selagi A, B, C tak habis, selagi tu D tak boleh start. Okay, so that is why the arrow is very important to show the dependency of the activities. Okay, now let's look at the type of relationship. Okay, kita panggil dia lag time. Okay, dalam precedence diagram, kita ada introduce lag time. Okay, lag time is where you separate the waiting period between two activity. Maksudnya you have activity A and activity B, tapi kita boleh introduce a relationship where we call it as a finish start, start start, finish finish ataupun start finish relationship. Either one of this, ya. Kadang-kadang dalam a complicated situation, it could be a combination of two. Okay, maksudnya dalam ni ada finish start dengan start start. So ataupun dia boleh ada satu saja. Okay, so this tells you that activity A and B has been separated by a waiting period. Sebab tu kita panggil lag time dekat sini. Lag tu maksudnya adalah lambat. Okay, dia dilambatkan. I'll show you what does it mean. Okay, in precedence diagram, there is 4 type of relationship, which we call it as a finish to start to start, finish to finish, and start to finish relationship. Okay, ada 4. Tapi yang selalu digunakan adalah start dengan finish. Okay, sometimes it's a combination of these two. Okay, ataupun sometimes it's a combination of any two. Okay, so I want to show you what is the relationship for each of these relationship lah. Yeah, what is the meaning of these 4 relationship. So now let's look at the first one, finish to start. Okay, finish to start. Maksudnya di sini, if you have activity A and activity B, so what it means by finish to start adalah it affects the finish of A and the start of B. Sebab tu kita panggil finish to start. Okay, so apa maksudnya di sini? Maksudnya, you boleh lagkan dia sebanyak berapa hari lah. It depends on the activity, the nature of the activity. Okay, so in this case, B has been lagged by 7 days. Maksudnya di sini, B can only start after 7 days after activity A finish. Okay, maksudnya dalam kata yang lain, A kena habis dulu, tunggu 7 hari, baru B boleh start. Okay, so that is what it meant by 7 days dekat sini. Okay, kalau you nampak ada finish to start relationship 7 days, maksudnya A kena habis, tunggu 7 hari, B boleh start. Okay, so kenapa kita kena ada lag of this relationship? Because For example, if you do the concreting, kan, concrete bila you dah curah, you dah buat concreting, you kena tunggu 7 hari dulu. For what? Kenapa kena tunggu 7 hari? Sebelum you boleh buka form work tu. Siapa tahu? Kenapa kita kena tunggu 7 hari dulu sebelum kita boleh buka form work selepas kita buat concreting? Siapa tahu? What is the purpose? Oh, ni kita panggil apa ni? Adeline, kenapa kita kena tunggu 7 hari sebelum kita boleh buka form work? Siapa nak tolong Adeline? Anyone? You all, please communicate dengan saya. Nicholas. Okay. Apa? Siapa?
Is it for to ensure the concrete fully dry?
Yes, thank you Fahmi. You are civil engineer, you mestilah tahu kan, bila you concreting, you kenalah tunggu for curing day. This is what we call as curing. Okay? Curing kadang-kadang 7 hari, kadang-kadang 14 hari. Depends on the type of concrete. Ini tolonglah pergi tengok balik your material, your civil engineering material. Okay? You have to wait for curing 7 days. Then only you can remove the concrete. What does it mean by curing? Curing to make it dry, like what your friend said, Fahmi said, okay? You have to make sure the concrete has cured, has dried, has gained the strength. Then only you can be able to remove the formwork. Okay? You tak boleh curah konkrit, besok tunggu buka. Habis semua. Okay? You cannot do that. So, you have to wait for 7 days. This is what the lagging here means. Okay? So, by having 7 days of lagging, maksudnya once activity A has been completed, maksudnya you dah buat concreting, you kena tunggu 7 hari for curing days. Then activity B can start. B2 could be the removing of the formwork. Okay, so that is why project manager or project engineer or the consultant must carefully check the lag time to reduce the risk of being late. Bukan saja being late, tapi also to make sure what are the suitable lagging for the activity. Yeah? Sometimes the activity requires 7 days. Sometimes the activity requires only 1 day. Sometimes the activity requires lagging of 3 days or even 14 days. Yeah? So you kena tengok lah as a project manager or project engineer, you have to make sure how much of lagging that this activity requires. Okay, so that is the first relationship. Now let's look at start to start. Okay, start to start maksudnya apa? Start to start maksudnya if you have activity A and B, it affects the start of A and start of B. Okay, maksudnya when activity A start, activity B can immediately start as well. Contohnya, you buat concreting. Okay, concreting means you pour the concrete. When you pour the concrete, activity A could be the duration ambil dalam buat 2 jam. Okay, 2 jam nak pour all the concrete for that activity. But activity B is level and smooth the concrete. Okay, once you pour the concrete, you have to level it to the right leveling. Okay, so activity A kita tak boleh tunggu habis baru activity B start. Kenapa kita tak boleh tunggu? Kenapa kita tak boleh tunggu, Ainul? Kenapa kita tak boleh tunggu activity A? Tunggulah, habiskan dulu 2 jam nanti baru kita buat level. Kenapa tak boleh?
Nanti keras.
Apa dia? Apa dia? Tak dengar?
Nanti dia dah keras.
Ya, betul. Especially when you use a fast drying concrete. Okay. Then you tak sempat nak level, dia dah start to keras. Okay. Dah tak boleh nak buat leveling. That is why kita introduce the start to start relationship. Maksudnya Once A has been poured, B dah boleh start dah. Dia maksudnya dia start sekali jalan. Faham tak? Faham tak you all? Faham tak? Kalau you all tak nak okay, thank you. Kalau you all tak nak cakap pun, at least bagi saya thumbs up ke dekat sini. At least I know somebody is here. Ada kan macam tu. Thank you. Baru saya tahu. I rupanya ada orang pagi ni. Okay. Bukan saya seorang dia cakap. Okay, so good. Kita dah tahu pasal start to start relationship. Okay, now maksudnya activity B cannot start until A has started, but should begin immediately after A start. Maksudnya macam tu lah. Ya? B tak boleh start. Tapi bila A start, dia kena start. Sama-sama. Okay. So sebab tu kita bagi dia start to start sini adalah kosong. Sebabnya dia tak boleh tunggu. Dia tak boleh tunggu. Okay. Okay, start to start. Lagi satu contoh. P to Q. Okay, kita bagi dia tadi kosong kan. Sekarang kita bagi dia 3 di sini. Okay, 3 maksudnya 3 hari, 3 minggu. Depends on the question lah. Ya, ataupun the nature of the project activity. Okay, activity Q cannot start until 3 days after activity P start. Ini lain sikit. Tadi tu kena buat sama-sama. But this one, bila P starts, after 3 day P started, then only Q can start. Okay, dia tak perlu tunggu P finish, complete. So, dia kena tunggu 3 hari selepas P start, then only Q can immediately start. Okay, so example, for example, kita ada pipe laying project. You pernah tengok tak pipe laying project? Okay, ni pipe lah ni. Ni pipe. Okay, now, in order for you to lay the pipe, you need to do the trenching first. Okay, you korek lubang ni. This is what we call trenching. Okay, berkilo-kilometer lah. Bukannya beberapa meter, mungkin berkilo-kilometer. Ya? So, kita nak buat laying the pipe ni, we need to do the trenching first, then only we lay the pipe, and then baru kita kambus dia balik. Betul tak? So, ada 3 aktiviti dekat situ. So, maksudnya, kita buat trenching dulu, kita buat lay pipe dulu, then kita refill dia balik. Okay? So, kita boleh introduce start to start dekat sini. Maksudnya trench kita boleh buat trenching first. 3 days after trench kita dah korek, pipe dah boleh lay dulu. Kita tak perlu korek sepanjang 3 kilometer, lepas tu baru kita lay the pipe, lepas tu baru kita kambus kan. Kita tak payah buat situ. Kita boleh buat selepas dia buat trenching 3 hari, mungkin dalam 1 kilometer dah buat trenching, then pipe can be laid immediately. Okay, so lepas pipe dah lay immediately, after 5 days kita boleh kambus dia balik, refill dia balik. Okay, so kita boleh gunakan this start to start relationship. Okay, alright. Next one is finish to finish. Okay, finish to finish maksudnya it affects the finish of A and finish of B. Okay, tadi start. Sekarang kita nak tengok finish pula. Okay, for example, kita ada P dan Q dekat sini, and kita nak introduce finish to finish about 3 days. Okay, so maksudnya di sini Q cannot be completed any earlier than 3 days after P is completed. Apa maksudnya di sini? Maksudnya P selepas P dah complete, okay, Q boleh complete. Bukan start complete. Alright, so dia ada why we introduce this is because the nature of the activity. Okay, the nature of the activity. So Q tak boleh habis selagi Q 3 hari P completed. Okay, for example, completion of Q depends on completion of P plus 3 days. Bukan start completion. That's why we call it as a finish to finish here. Okay, finish of Q will depend on the finish of P. Yeah, like what we mentioned here, 3 days. Okay, for example dia when you want to testing of equipment. Katakanlah you dah siap semua your project, now you dah masukkan, install all the equipments and the machineries. Now you want to test the equipment and machineries. Okay, so what you can do is you can install and testing. Ya, ada dua benda berlaku di sini. Installation must be finished 3 days, then only testing can complete. Macam tu. Okay, so you boleh fikir lah macam mana. You fikir sendirilah macam mana. Installation mesti habis 3 hari sebelum testing mesti complete 3 hari selepas installation habis. Ya. So inilah completion of testing equivalent to completion of installation plus 3 days. Then only testing can complete. So maksudnya apa? Testing and installation sebenarnya boleh berlaku serentak. Tapi dia punya finishing tu must be dia kena tunggu installation habis dulu. Of course lah kan, dia kena tunggu install baru dia boleh testing. Okay, so mungkin dalam that building dia masukkan 3 atau 4 missionaries. Okay, so dia kena install dulu, dia kena tunggu, mungkin testing tu mengambil masa 3 hari baru testing boleh habis. Okay, complete all the testing of equipment in that building. Okay, now the last one, start to finish relationship. Start to finish relationship in effect the start of A and the finish of B. You kena tengok, you kena make sure you aware of the start, finish, start semua ni. Yeah? But in this case, the start of A effect the finish of B. Okay, for example, A and B, kita ada start finish relationship of 3 days. Okay, so maksudnya di sini, B cannot end until 3 days after A has started. It's a quite complicated ni. Okay, quite complicated. Maksudnya, activity B cannot complete until 3 days after A has started. Okay, A kena start dulu. Lepas 3 hari, baru B boleh complete. So, the completion of B equivalent to the start of A plus 3 days. Contohnya testing of concrete. Okay, you dah buat cube concrete ni, you want to test on the quality. So you casting of the concrete, you introduce the start to finish relationship of 3, and then only you test the check on quality. Apa maksudnya di sini? The completion of quality testing is equivalent to start of the casting plus 3 days. Okay. Selepas 3 hari casting, ataupun 7 hari casting, for this case 3 lah ya. For after 3 days of casting, your completion of quality checking on the concrete completed. Okay. Okay. Now you know the 4 relationship. Okay, so we need to use the relationship in precedence diagram. Okay, in CPM, like what you have studied last class, okay, it is different from precedence. Okay, logical relationship in precedence is more flexible and versatile compared to CPM. Okay, CPM ni kalau you nak jadikan dia logik, you kena introduce apa? Siapa tahu? You dah tengok video saya. Apa yang kita introduce that to make the network become logic? Yes, thank you Ikram. Dummy. Okay, kita introduce dummy. You all kena ingat sebab tu kita ada dua network diagram. Satu precedence, satu CPM. Okay, CPM to make the relationship become logical, we introduce dummy. But for precedence that we learn today, how to make the logical relationship, this is where we introduce the 4 relationship. Finish, start, finish, start, and start, finish relationship. Okay, so why we introduce this? Because we want to make the relationship become more logical. Yeah. Okay, and let's look at the example. Okay, kita tengok example lah. Kita buat example yang senang. Ada 3 je activity di sini. We have concreting work, we have curing time, we have removal of the foam work. Yeah. So 1 hari untuk concreting, tunggu 3 hari dulu, then only we can strip off the formwork. Okay, macam ni kita nak buat. Okay, dalam CPM, kita tengok CPM dululah, CPM yang you dah belajar last class. Okay, CPM kita ada yang ni. A, kita ada B, kita ada C. A tadi apa? Concreting. B tadi adalah curing. C adalah strip off the formwork. Okay, so dalam CPM you buat macam ni. Okay, kita ada note 1 to note 2 and then you have A. Note 2 to note 3, mungkin kita ada B dan seterusnya. Tapi untuk precedence diagram, like what I mentioned, dia semua berada dalam note. This is your note. Note tu boleh jadi bulat, boleh jadi 4 segi. Like I mentioned just now, can be hexagon, suka hati you lah nak buat bentuk apa. Tapi saya nak buat bentuk 4 segi. Sebab senang untuk saya lukis dan untuk saya tulis information dalam ni. Okay, so the information of A 1 minggu ni, maksudnya 1 minggu dekat sini lah. Sama je information dia, okay. A, curing 1 day. A, concreting 1 day. B, curing 3 days. And C, strip off the formwork 1 day. Okay, so ada A, B, C, sama juga precedence diagram. Nampak tak perbezaan dia, you guys? You all kena tengok yang ni sebab saya tak nak you all confused. Okay, so this is how you do CPM and precedence diagram. Okay, so tapi precedence diagram, because we have all the 4 relationship just now, okay, kita boleh introduce dalam kita punya precedence diagram. Okay, so kita tak perlu ada B. B is curing. So kita boleh introduce A to straight to C dengan finish to start of 3. Sekejap you all, sekejap. Okay, A to C and finish to start is 3 days. Okay, so 3 days ni apa tadi? 3 days ni siapa tahu? Apa tadi? Siapa tahu 3 hari tadi ni? What is the 3 days here?
Finish to start.
Sorry, apa tadi?
Sticker tak apa.
Curing the concrete. Okay, curing of the concrete. So kita dah tahu curing of the concrete 3 hari. So kita boleh introduce finish of A and start of C. So maksudnya A finish, tunggu 3 hari, baru C boleh start. Okay, so that's how you introduce finish start relationship. Okay, sekejap. Okay, kita sambung. Sorry. Okay, so precedence diagram beginilah ya. Sebab tu kita panggil dia, kita ada lagging. We introduce the any four of the relationship. Okay, because we want to eliminate the unnecessary activity. Kita nak aktiviti kita lebih concise and lebih tak banyak lah. Bila banyak itunya serabut ya. Sebab tu kita nak jadikan dia as simple as possible. Okay. Okay, now kita buat calculation. Sebelum kita buat calculation, sama juga. Untuk CPM pun kita ada forward pass, backward pass calculation. Sama. Precedence pun ada yang sama. Calculation dia sama. Forward pass to determine early start and early finish, but backward pass determine the late start and late finish for the activity. Yeah. So the advantage of precedence diagram over CPM adalah no use of dummy. Precedence tak ada dummy ya. So precedence ada 4 relationship tadi. Ease of changing logic and adding additional activities. Okay, so you can remove the activity, the unnecessary activity, or you can even add the any activity. Yeah, planning could be done with less activity. Like what I mentioned, like what we have seen just now, some of the activity can be removed. Yeah, so therefore activity can be lesser. Code of activity number need to be changed when logic was to be changed. Yeah, and permits other relationships such as finish, start, whereby CPM only does finish, start relationship. Yeah, allow for time lag properties. Okay, and next is float calculation. Okay, the float calculation kita ada dua, satu total float, satu free float. Okay, total float is the total amount of time that is scheduled activity may be delayed or extended without delaying the project completion date. Okay, so meaning to say the amount that can be delayed but your project completion date still maintained. Okay, katakanlah you ada your duration of your project is 30 days. Okay, by adding the float, by adding the delay, it would not affect the 30 days of the completion. Okay, similar to CPM calculation on the float, which is late start minus early start ataupun late finish minus early finish. Okay, okay, free float. Free float is the amount of time that scheduled activity can be delayed without delaying the start of the next activity in the network. Okay, so maksudnya free float is where you can have a delay on activity A, but it would not affect activity B start of activity B. Okay, so there is no single formula to calculate free float for activity for precedence diagram. Reason being there are 4 relationship in precedence diagram method. Ya, so yang ni nanti sekejap lagi saya tunjuk lah. Ya, selalunya the free float is based on the lowest float relationship with the successor. Okay. Okay, therefore each relationship going to successor are evaluated. So sebab tu kita kena make sure whatever goes to the next activity, it has to be calculated and evaluated whether it has a free float ataupun total float. Okay, kita tengok example. Okay, example 2 pula. Okay, this is where activity has been drawn for you, and ini adalah activity A sehingga activity I. Okay, so if you can see here, ini complicated sikit sebab saya dah introduce finish start sini dengan start dekat sini. Okay, so it's going to be much complicated. Okay, so activity 2 ni, the question is to calculate the forward pass and backward pass. Okay, forward pass, backward pass maksudnya you kena calculate early start sini, early finish ni, late start sini, late finish ni, semua ni. Okay, for each of the activity. And then you need to identify what are the critical paths. Kena bagi tahu which activity are the critical activity. And also you need to calculate the float of each of the activity. Okay, let's do it together. Okay, kenapa dekat ni tak nampak Yang ni. Sepatutnya ada line dekat sini. Okay, tapi dalam nota you saya dah bagi kan. So you rujuk nota you. Okay. Saya tak tahu kenapa dia tak keluar line ni. Okay. Alright. Kita buat sekarang ya. Kita ada finish start 6 kat sini. Kita ada start 10 dekat sini. Okay. Kita start dengan forward pass. As you know, forward pass you have to plus. Okay. So, kita start dengan kosong di sini. Kosong campur 8. Kita letak 8 kat sini. Okay. Okay, sekarang ni kita ada 2 aktiviti selepas A. So, maksudnya aktiviti B dan aktiviti C. So, 8 ni you transfer saja dekat sini. Okay, 8 ni you transfer saja dekat sini. 8 campur 12 is 20. Okay. Okay, so sekarang ni 20. 20 you transfer saja dekat sini. So, maksudnya the early finish for activity B is the same day for early start activity D. Maksudnya, okay. 20 campur 14 is 34. Okay, so sekarang ni saya nak berhenti dekat sini dulu sebab ada dua dekat sini. Satu go to G, satu go to H. But H ni, dia datang daripada sini juga. Jadi, you kena finish this one first. Okay, so 8 ni you transfer, saya tetap letak 34, sorry 34 campur 8 is 42. Okay, let's start with this one. So 8, okay, 8 campur 16 is 24. So you transfer dekat sini 24 campur 13 is 37. Okay, now you have 2 activities or 2 arrow comes together here. Okay, so you kena cari apa? You kena nak ambil 34 atau 37. Siapa tahu? Nak ambil 34 atau 37 nak letak sini?
37.
Kenapa 37? Kenapa 37?
Nak ambil yang ni.
Ambil yang
Siap lambat.
yang paling
Lewat.
large value. Okay, so in this case kita ambil 37. Okay, 37 campur 14, 51. Okay, kita dah selesai nyanyi. Kita tak boleh buat nyanyi dulu. Sebab apa? Sebab dia datang daripada 3 arrow. The first one dah solve dekat sini. The second one dah solve dekat sini. And kita nak tengok yang ini pula. Okay, so macam mana nak selesaikan yang ni? So as you know, kita ada start 10 kat sini. Maksudnya the start of C will affect the start of F. So macam mana nak buat? Okay, so macam mana nak buat yang ni. So maksudnya 8 campur 10. Okay, sebab apa? Sebab dia kena delay 10 hari baru F boleh start. So this is 18. Okay, so 18 plus 19 is 37. Okay, so sekarang ni kita boleh selesaikan kotak yang ini. Okay, macam mana nak selesaikan kotaknya ni? Kita ada 37, kita ada 51, but don't forget this. Ni finish to start 6. Maksudnya finish of G will affect the starts of I. So maksudnya di sini 42 campur 6. That is why you get 48 daripada this arrow. And this arrow pula datang daripada sini adalah 51. Dan kita tengok this arrow pula datang daripada sini adalah 37. So again, you have to take the larger value. In this case, your larger value is 51. So that is why kotak ini you letak 51. Okay? So 51 plus 12 is 63. So 63 adalah you punya completion date for the project. Okay, so maksudnya seawal-awalnya projek tu boleh siap adalah pada hari yang ke-63. Okay. Now, kita tak habis dekat situ. Kita baru buat forward pass. Now, we need to do the backward pass. Backward pass, kita start daripada sini. Okay. And backward pass, you need to subtract instead of plus tadi. Okay. So, let's start with this. Okay, kita kena ambil number yang sama. Ya. Tak boleh ambil 70, tak boleh ambil 80 sukati, tak boleh. You kena ambil 63. Yang tadi ni pun sama You boleh start dengan kosong. Yang ni boleh start dengan number berapa pun you nak letak. You can start with 0, you can start with 1, you can start with 2, you can start with 10, you can start with 100 dekat sini. Tapi nanti you sendiri yang akan susah. Sebab apa? Bila yang ini patah balik, you dah kena subtract balik apa yang you letak dekat sini. So that is why you need, it's best that you put 0 here. Senang. Ya. So 63, kita start dengan 63 kat sini. Okay. We start with 63 minus 12 is 51. Okay. So now 51 ni dia akan pergi kepada 3 arrow. 3 arrow pergi ke G, ke H dan ke F. Okay. So kita kena tengok yang ini. Okay. Kalau kita nak letak yang ini, kita nak selesaikan ini, you kena tengok relationship ni juga. Finish to start. Maksudnya finish of this and start of this. So instead of you plus just now, you have to subtract it. Okay, sorry. Letak dulu 51. 50 yang ni tak ada relationship. So, you can just put 51. Okay, 51 minus 14 is 37. Okay, so, yang ini 51 minus 6 is 45. Okay, and 45 minus 8 is 37. Okay, so sekarang ni, D ni datang daripada 2 arrow. Okay, satu daripada G, satu daripada H. Okay, so kita nak ambil yang mana? 37. Dua-dua 37. So tak ada masalah. So kita letak 37 dekat situ. Okay. 37 minus 14 is 23. 23 minus 12 is 11. Okay. Kita dah ada 11 dekat sini. Now, yang ini pula kita nak selesaikan. In order to complete this, you need to complete this first. Okay. So this is 37. So letak sini 51 lah. 51 letak sini. Okay, nak selesaikan mana dulu ah? Oh, okay. 51 minus 1932. Okay, so 37, kita letak 37 minus 13 is 24. 24 minus 16, tak boleh. 16. 24 minus 16, yang ini kotak ni juga melibatkan yang ini ni SS ni tadi. Okay, so ada dua nilai di situ. Satu 24 minus 16, satu lagi adalah apa? Siapa tahu? Satu 24 minus 16, satu lagi
32 minus 10.
yes, sebab kita ada SS dekat sini 10. So 32 minus 10. So, kita nak ambil apa? 24 minus 16 atau 32 minus 10? Siapa tahu? Nak ambil yang mana satu? Mana satu kita nak ambil, yo? 24 minus 16 or 32 minus 10?
24 minus 16.
Yes. Kenapa kita ambil 24 minus 16? Sebab you need to take the smaller value when you do backward pass. Okay, sebab tu you ambil 24 minus 16 which is 8. Okay, so dekat sini ada dua. Nak selesaikan A ada datang daripada dua arah di sini. Satu 11, satu 8. So kita nak ambil 11 or 8? Kita nak ambil 11 or 8? 8. Yes, kita ambil 8. 8 minus 8 back to 0. Mesti dapat 0 semula. Okay, you must get 0 back. If you start with 1, you have to finish at 1. If you start at 100 dekat sini, you have to finish also at 100. But yet you have to subtract balik 100 untuk menjadikan dia kosong. Okay, so why do complicated work? Might as well you just put 0 here. Okay, so kita belum habis lagi sebab kita kena identify which are the critical path. Okay, mana satu critical path? Critical path is when you subtract these two, you akan dapat kosong. Okay, so early start minus late start, you akan dapat kosong. So, mana yang kosong tu, that is critical path. Okay, is this critical path? Is this critical path? B no. Is B? No. Okay, B ada float dekat situ. Okay, C, yes. Sebab you subtract this, it is 0. Kenapa kosong? Sebab aktiviti yang kosong floatnya is a critical activity. Okay, maksudnya dia tak boleh delay satu hari pun. Kalau dia delay, dia akan menyebabkan semua ni delay. Okay, sebab tu ini adalah yang saya highlight warna kuning ni adalah your critical activity. Okay. And float dia adalah kosong dekat sini. Yang ini float kosong, dan float kosong. Okay, kalau you tengok, float ni ada 3. Okay, 23 minus 20 ataupun 11 minus 8, dia akan dapat 3. Yang ini float dia 3. Yang ini float dia berapa you all? Ni, activity G. Berapa float dia? 3. Aktiviti F, float dia berapa?
14.
Yes. Okay, so that's how you calculate the float. Okay, so that ini adalah cara calculation of the precedence diagram. A bit different from critical path method. Okay, so saya buat satu lagi example dengan you all ya. But this one kita just introduce finish start equivalent to 2 saja, satu saja. Relationship. Okay, kita start dengan 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. And then kita boleh transfer 2 di sini. 2 campur 6 adalah 8. 8 ada 2 kat sini. So, you boleh letak 8 sini. You boleh letak 8 di sini. Ya? 8 campur 6, 14. And this is finish start. Okay, finish start maksudnya finish of this, start of this. So, 14, tak boleh. Kita buat yang ni dulu. 8 campur 1, 9. Ya? So, yang ni 2. 2 campur 3 adalah 5. So, antara 9 dengan 5, kita nak letak berapa? Kita ambil yang paling tinggi, which is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. Okay. So, ada 2 arrow dekat sini. So, you have to find the larger number. Okay. So, this is 12. And satu lagi adalah 14 plus 2. 14 plus 2 or 12. Of course, we take the larger number, which is 16. Yeah, 16 plus 2 is 18. Okay, so kita buat backward pass. Backward pass is 18. 18 minus 2 is 16. So, kita ada 16 dekat sini. 16 minus 3 is 13. And 14 dekat sini. Macam mana dapat 14 is 16 minus 2. Okay, jangan lupa if you do forward pass, you have to consider the relationship. If you do the backward pass, you still have to consider the relationship. Okay, so 14 minus 6 is 8. Okay, so kita tak boleh selesaikan yang ni lagi. So kita kena tengok this, because this B comes from two direction, which is C and D. So kita kena selesaikan D dulu. So 13 minus 1 is 12. So we take the smaller number, okay, which is 8. Okay, 8 minus 6 is 2. Okay, so kita tak boleh letak 2 dulu, kita kena tengok datang daripada this direction. Okay, so this one 13. 13 minus 3 is 10. So kita ambil yang mana? 10 atau 2? Siapa tahu? 10 atau 2?
2.
Yes, we
2.
take 2 because 2 is the smallest number. So, kita akan dapat kosong. Okay, so this is your check and balance. Sama ada your network diagram is correct or not. Kalau you dapat, tiba-tiba dapat 1, dapat 3, dapat 10 kat sini, something is wrong with your calculation. So, you have to redo again. Make sure you, whatever number here, it has to be the same as where you start. Okay, faham tak? Faham tak? Give me a thumbs up kalau faham.
Faham.
Okay, good. Alright, now kita nak tengok apa? Kita nak tengok, critical path. Critical path jangan lupa, kita tengok yang total floatnya adalah kosong. Okay, so you subtract these two, this is 0. Subtract these two, this is 0. Okay, so these are the critical path. Critical path mesti total float kosong. Kenapa total float kosong? Because total critical path cannot have float. Okay, sebab tu kita panggil dia critical. Sebab dia satu hari lewat, keseluruhannya akan lewat. Okay. So, that is example 3. Setakat tu ada soalan tak, you all? Ada soalan tak dekat sini? Nak tanya? Ada apa tak nak tanya? Kalau okey, semua okey, thumbs up. Saya nak tengok. Okay, good. Good, good. Make sure keluar exam, you make sure you score this. Okay, make sure score this. Okay. Okay, kita nak buat the last example lah. Okay, last example. Example ni quite complicated Kita ada 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ada 5 relationship kat situ. Kita ada semua jenis lah. Saya rasa start, finish, start, finish je tak ada kat sini. Okay, the 3 relationship dah ada kat sini. Okay, kita start dengan activity A and complete at activity I. Okay, so kita start dengan kosong. Okay, kosong campur 2. So, kita ada 3 direction dekat sini. Okay, tapi kita buat yang ni dulu. Letak 2 campur 5. 2 letak sini. Sini pun tak ada relationship. Kita boleh letak 2. Tapi yang ni ada relationship. Okay, kita nak selesaikan mana? Kita selesaikan atas ni dululah. 2 campur 5, 7. Okey, yang 2 campur 6, 8. Okey, barulah start challenging dia, okey. Dekat sini kita nak buat yang mana dulu Kita nak buat yang ni lah saya rasa. Kita ada finish start dengan kita ada start. Activity E ni ada 2 relationship. Mana satu nak buat ni? Okey, the finish to start 7 campur 2. So 7 campur 2 adalah 9. Betul tak? Sekejap. Okey, 7 campur 2. Ataupun dia datang daripada C. C ni start to start adalah 4. So maksudnya you ambil yang ni bukan ambil yang ni. Kena tengok apa dia punya relationship. Kalau start to start you have to get from here 2. 2 plus 4 is 6. So kita nak ambil 7 campur 2 atau 2 campur 4 nak letak sini. Siapa tahu? 7 campur 2 atau 2 campur 4?
7 campur 2.
Ya, 7 campur 2 sebab 7 campur 2 adalah a larger number. Okay, so 9 campur 3 adalah 12. Okay, so boleh tak kita teruskan di sini atau macam mana? Nanti saya tengok dulu. Okay, yang ini. Kita teruskan yang ini, okay? Kita teruskan G. 12 sebab dia finish to finish, you have to see finish of E with finish of G. So 12 campur 3, you will get berapa? 15 kan? Okay, 15 kat sini. Tapi macam mana nak selesaikan yang ini? Macam mana nak selesaikan yang ni? Macam ni?
Minus 10.
Yes, sama juga macam ni. Kalau you 9 campur 3, 12. Yang ini X campur 10, 15. X is 5. Okay. So, kita dah ada 15 dekat sini. Tapi 15, kita tak boleh letak 15 ni sebab it comes from another direction, another arrow, which is from this direction. Okay, kita selesaikan yang ini dulu, saya rasa. Betul tak? Okay, kita selesaikan yang ini. This is finish to finish. So, maksudnya the finish of A with the finish of D. So, ada 6 delay dekat situ. 6 hari delay. So, 2 plus 6, you get 8. Okay, so how do you get this? X plus 4 is 8. What is X? X is apa? 4. Yes. Okay, so now kita boleh selesaikannya ni sebab kita dah tahu yang ini dan kita dah tahu yang ini. Tapi F ada relationship starts to start 3. So you kena tengok start of C dengan start of F. Okay, so maksudnya 2 campur 3 ada ataupun straight daripada sini. Sini tak ada relationship ataupun 8. So you nak ambil 2 campur 3 atau 8?
8.
Yes, we take 8. So 8 plus 8 is 16. So transfer sebab tak ada relationship, you put 16, you get 18. So sekarang ni ada 18. So 15 or 18?
18.
Yes, 18 plus 5 is 23. Okay, so the earliest duration that this project can complete is at 23 days. Okay, so 23 pula. Kita start backward pass, kita start with the same value which is 23 minus 5, 18. So kita letak 18 sini. 18 minus 10 is 8. Okay, okay. Bila kita nak pergi sini, you have to make sure you consider this relationship. Okay, so finish. Maksudnya finish of G with the finish of E. Ya, jangan tengok kotak lain. Bila you backward pass, you can tengok finish. So this is finish, this is kotak finish. 18 minus 3 will give you 15. Okay, so 15 minus 3 is 12. Okay, so kita nak selesaikan yang ini dululah saya rasa. I think so, yeah. So, kalau nak selesaikan ni, kena tengok this relationship. Finish to start. Maksudnya, finish of this and start of this. So, 12 minus 2 is 10. Okay? 10 minus 5 is 5. Okay? So, kita dah selesaikan this direction. Okay, now kita nak selesaikan. Mana pula? Yang inilah kot saya rasa. Ya ke? Sekejap. Ya, yang ini. Yang ini SS4, maksudnya the starts of E with the starts of C. So 12 tolak 4 is kita tak boleh buat lagi sebab apa? Dia datang daripada the next direction. Okay, so kita letak sini 12 tolak 4 dulu. Okay, kita tengok this direction dulu. Okay, 18 tolak 2 16. 16 tolak 8 is 8. Okay, so now this ada SS3. Okay, kita selesaikan ni dulu. Sebabnya ni tadi dah selesai, separuh jalan. So, 8 tolak berapa? Yang ni, nak dapatkan ni. Daripada
3.
sini. 8 tolak 3. So, sekarang ni you ada dua option. 12 tolak 4 atau 8 tolak 3. Mana satu? Ingat, this is backward pass. Backward
8
pass.
tolak 3.
Yes, backward pass you have to take the smaller number. Smaller number adalah 8 tolak 3, 5. Tapi macam mana you nak dapat yang ini? Macam mana you nak dapat nilai ni?
8 tolak 6.
8 tolak 6? 8 tolak 6? No.
5 tambah 6.
Ya, 5 campur 6. Sama juga macam ni. 12 campur 3, 15 kan? Sama juga, ataupun 15 tolak 3 adalah 12. So, X tolak 6 adalah 5. X adalah
11.
11. Okay. So, kita dah tahu ini 5. Kita tak boleh lagi tulis sini sebab dia datang daripada satu lagi direction. Kita tak selesaikan yang ini. So, ini adalah 8. Okay, so kita letak 8 dekat sini. So, 8 tolak 4 adalah 4. Tapi, bila kita nak pergi ke sini, you kena tengok this relationship. Finish to finish 6. Okay, so kita dah ada daripada 5. Kita ada 5, so kita ada 8. So, 8 tolak 6 adalah 2. So, kita nak pilih 8 tolak 6 ataupun 5 ataupun 5. Kita nak pilih mana?
8 tolak 6.
Yes, 8 tolak 6 is 2. 2 tolak 2, kosong. Okay, so kalau you dapat kosong kat sini, maksudnya betul lah calculation you. Kalau tak, selagi tak dapat kosong sini, you buat sampai dapat. Okay, something is wrong. Sometimes you tersalah letak kotak. Sometimes kadang-kadang ada student yang start to start tapi dia letak start to finish macam tu. Okay, so you have to mark kat mana you buat. Okay, kalau start to start dekat mana you buat, mark dekat sini dengan mark dekat sini. So you tahu ini sebenarnya start to start, kotak yang ini bukan kotak yang ini. Okay, so you have to know which box need require the calculation. Okay, yang ini you kena tahu macam mana nak buat calculation. Okay, So the next step is to find the critical path. Okay, critical path is the total float is 0. So this total float are all 0. Ya, kalau you tolak the early finish or minus late finish, early start minus late start, you akan dapat 0. So these are the activity that are critical that you as an engineer should aware of. Ya. Sebab apa? Sebab kalau satu hari dia lewat, dia akan melibatkan semua projek ni tergendala. Okay, sebab tu activity A, D, F, H and I need to be carefully monitored during the construction. Okay. Apa lagi ya kat sini? Itu saja. Ada soalan? Okay, semua tak ada soalan. Good. Okay, your test sampai CPM ya, bukan yang ni. Yang ini dah masuk ke final exam. Okay, final exam pun akan ada this type of question. But your question, but your test melibatkan CPM saja. Okay, CPM, you make sure you know how to introduce the dummy. Okay, make sure you know how to introduce the dummy. Banyakkan buat past papers dan juga internet ada banyak, you boleh tengok YouTube and untuk test keluar soalan CPM. Keluar berserta dengan calculation. Macam mana you dapatkan early start, early finish, late start, late finish. Okay, jangan confuse dengan precedence. You pergi tengok video saya sekali lagi. Okay, tapi yang paling penting, you kena tahu macam mana nak introduce the dummy. Okay, because in the test nanti, you need to introduce the dummy. Okay, salah introduce dummy, the whole soalan salah. Dapat kosong. Kosong. So, buat banyakkan buat example. Okay. Okay, so kalau tak ada soalan, itu saja dari saya. So,